If you watch my recent video on installing a new battery on my Triumph Street Twin, then you'll know all about the struggles that I faced when trying to remove the battery from its holder. You see, when I first got the bike, I wasted no time in diving into modifying it. One of the first things I set about was getting a sleek tail tidy from New Rage Cycles and removing that big ugly back end. By removing the original rear mudguard, I achieved that cleaner, meaner look that I was after. However, I've recently run into a serious issue. The exposed underside of the bike means that the ECU and the electrics have been vulnerable to water and debris. The large openings underneath are right under the ECU and are allowing moisture and grime to sneak in, potentially causing damage to the electronics. So, in today's video, I'm going to be making a custom rear hugger to protect the ECU and electrics from the elements, whilst keeping the bike's aesthetics intact. So let's get into it. So when you place my hand underneath, you can actually see all the areas that are exposed. It goes beyond just under the ECU. It's all the way along. So I'm going to make a piece that extends this entire area because I want to keep it covered. But what I do want to do is tuck it underneath this area so that anything that splashes up rolls behind and out of away from the ECU. So these are the largest holes that sit directly underneath the ECU that are completely exposed, and there's even a small bit at the side. I'm using a 10mm spanner and a T30 Torx bit to undo these bolts so that I can run my material behind this metal bit and behind this battery tray. The rubber silicone material, when placed behind this battery tray and pinched with these two bolts, should hopefully act as a rubber gasket and squeeze out any water that's trying to make its way into that area. I'm using a piece of cardboard to roughly trace out the area that I need to cover, and I'm going to be using this as a template to cut my silicone from. I've chose to use a silicone sheet just like you would use in an everyday kitchen use, and I'm using it because of its superior temperature resistance, withstanding both extreme heat and cold. It also offers excellent chemical, UV and water resistance, making it versatile in a variety of demanding environments. Silicone is durable with a high tear, abrasion and tensile strength, and it is non-flammable. It's also easy to clean. Its rubber-like consistency will also form a gasket when I do these bolts up really tight, so that water shouldn't be able to get into that area. I'm running the material under this splash tray that sits under the seat and behind that area where the ECU sits, and it will be secured by the two bolts that connect to the battery tray. I'm poking a couple of holes in the material with a sharp screwdriver so these bolts can go through with ease. This layer of silicone will be pinch tight and also act like a rubber seal. I'm feeding it all the way up and to the back where the number plate joins, so this material will go the whole length under the seat and all the way along. As you can see, when I lift the material away, that gap all the way along is quite significant, and so that's the reason I'm running this material the entire length of the seat area, because I want to try and eliminate any of that debris getting in wherever it may be coming in from. All I need to do now is tighten up these rear number plate holders, and that again will squeeze that material and form that rubber seal that I'm looking for. It's now just a case of putting everything back in reverse order, and it's nice to know that this ECU is not now going to be subject to getting loads of rainwater and dirt, and my battery tray's not going to get caked in it either. This is the finished product, so I've got the material running all the way up so that any water that's going to hit that under tray is going to run away from these electrics. And as you can see underneath, there's just a small area that's exposed of the rubber. The rest of it is hidden by the existing plastics and metals that were already there. This is the small area that had a hole where the battery tray was that was accessible via the side unit, and again you can't see any of that, and it's all hidden as well behind that side panel. So if you've got a modern classic that you've modified and you've put a tail tidy on, I'd suggest that you take a look. But I'd also suggest you take a look if you've not modified your bike, because the battery strap that goes onto the Street Twin and the other Bonneville models is also exposed directly underneath. So I'd definitely take a look at that battery and just make sure that you've not got any water and dirt getting in there. So I hope you found this video helpful. There's lots of videos on the channel to keep you entertained, and there's lots more coming up. In the meantime, all that's left for me to say is safe riding, safe driving, happy adventures, and I'll see you in the next one.